Good afternoon, everybody. It is the second race of the 10th season of the GP2 series. It is 2014, beginning of a new era for this championship, and a great first race yesterday saw Stoffel Vandoorne win his first race as a rookie in GP2. Will Buxton with you as always, and alongside me, my very good friend, Mr. Luca Filippi. Luca, great race yesterday here in Bahrain. You know what it takes to win in Bahrain, and Stoffel did a great job, didn't he?
Yes, he did an amazing job. I really rate him very highly, but not that much. I mean, I was expecting great things from him, but winning the very first race of the GP2 series, I mean, it's incredible. He did an amazing job.
Incredible, absolutely. Only two drivers before him have done that. One was Charles Pic, the other was Alvaro Parent. Of course, Heikki Kovalainen, but that was the first ever race of GP2, so we don't really include that. An amazing job then from Stoffel Vandoorne, and of course, today he will start the race from 8th position. It is Felipe Nasr who will lead from the reverse grid pole alongside Simon Trummer with that amazing strategy to come from the pit lane to finish seventh. Then Izawa third, Pic fourth, Coletti fifth, Palmer sixth, then Leal and Vandoorne. Behind them, Binder and Quaife, Hobbs, de Jong and Daly, who managed to do half the race yesterday on the soft tyre, in 12th. 13th is Abt, who missed his pit box yesterday, stopped in the wrong place. Evans 14th, Markelov 15th, then Haryanto and Lancaster, Marcello and Ricalmi, Negrão, Cecotto, Rossi, Berton, Sato, who got himself into a bit of a ding-dong with Jeffries, who starts 25th, Regalia down in 26th. And I'm pleased to say I had a good chat with Axel Jeffries this morning. He is in good spirits, in good health. He's absolutely fine after that big impact, and will start the race today. Now, they are going to have to tape over the access hole in the tub there. Luca, you spotted it on the way to the grid.
Yes, we have seen that Vandoorne just lost the cover. Basically, that's just right on top of the pedals, and he lost it. Probably wasn't bolted properly, and in the outlap, let's see.
So coming down to turn 4. Whoa! Gone.
Here it is. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. There's nothing too much aerodynamic there, and if it's fine for the FIA, because that's a point, then it's good to race.
So yesterday we saw for the first time since the new regs came in the rule of everybody having to use prime and option. It was a fascinating race of strategy. Some drivers pitting very early. One of them, Stefano Coletti, ultimately caught out with, got stuck behind Alexander Rossi, who was coming down the pit lane, doubling up with his teammate Haryanto in the pits, and Coletti held up behind Rossi, ultimately losing a few seconds. Without that, the team thought he could and probably should have been on the podium.
Okay, mate, just have a little bit of a look down the grid. There's nothing to report. Everybody, of course, on primes. Everybody looks pretty organised. Have a great race, mate. Another one like yesterday will be perfect.
Yeah, Leal had a great race yesterday, didn't he?
Yes, yeah, great, very consistent, and also at the end of the run of the stint, he was very fast. So for today, he's looking good on this hard compound, and if he can be as consistent as yesterday, he's one of the contenders.
Amazingly, it was Leal's first ever feature race podium yesterday, and for ART, their first win since Silverstone 2012 in a feature race.
Yeah, ART now they're back, and they may be stronger than ever. They made a great strategy on both cars, because don't forget that Izawa came 6th, coming out from 20 whatever. So
yeah, 21st was it? Yeah, I think 21st.
So they did great strategy, and they have a very consistent car. They've done a good job during the winter, because they're very focused very much on long runs, and then Vandoorne drove like an experienced guy, and sometimes when you have such a leader in a team, then everything gets easier.
It's risky, isn't it, for a team going for 2 rookies in a season, particularly a team like ART, who have such lofty aspirations every season. You know, they come into every season and the championship is the goal. To take on 2 rookies, big risk.
Yes, but sometimes, you know, you have to bet on something risky, and then you have a big gain.
Vandoorne already proving not to be such a risk. As Lucas says, a perfect drive yesterday, and one really that was reflective of a much more experienced driver in this championship than he. Vandoorne won his first ever race in World Series as well, and I can't think of another driver that won his first race in World Series and his first race in GP2.
Wow, it's my hero now.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, it's difficult because of you have to add on top of that the pressure. Because you come in a new series, you want to show how good you are. You know you're good because you must know. But it's difficult because you have the pressure, and then that's difficult. But I mean, it's great. I'm impressed.
Only the second Belgian to ever race in GP2. The first was Jerome D'Ambrosio. He was a multiple race winner in this championship. It's given. There aren't many Belgians in the Formula One paddock. There are a few. Laurent Charnier, the photographer, who I saw him just after the race yesterday, and he was running around the place, jumping in the air, screaming and shouting, so happy that Stoffel had won. And of course, Stoffel leads the Drivers' Championship. 25 points for him, 21 for Jolyon Palmer, who took pole position and fought back valiantly yesterday, I must say, from a terrible start. Leal third, Coletti fourth. Then the other guys, obviously, in the order they finished yesterday.
Charles Pic did also a good race. He was consistent. He had a different strategy, so he wasn't the group of the guy who pitted late, who started on hard compound, and then also the safety car helped them out a lot. And he did also a good race, and he was very fast at the end of in the last laps.
And what was really interesting about Pic's race was he started pushing with 10 laps to go. All the experienced guys were sort of holding on, saying, no, he's going to use his tyres too much, we need to wait for the last 5 laps. They started pushing with 5 laps to go. By that point, Pic had already made up 4 or 5 positions, and he held on.
Yeah, that's very true, and he was very strong on power. So the Dams car had a lot of, the Campos car had a lot of traction for sure, but he was also, I think, very, very good to manage the power and the big torque that this GP2 car has, and he was overtaking everybody right in the next corner that we see now, and up the hill, he was super quick.
Rossi, what can he do from 22nd on the grid? A massively disappointing day yesterday for everybody at Caterham. Such huge expectations coming into this race. They had dominated testing here in Bahrain and just massively off it towards the end of the contest.
Yeah, Rossi is still, I think, one of the contenders for the championship. So it's just the first race, and then everything is gonna change a little because, as you know, then we go to Europe and it's a bit of a different scenario. So we have to see. But today is not so easy for him. Maybe some small points in the top 10 it would be possible.
Mitch Evans, what can he do today? Another disappointing race. Ultimately, it looked good, but disappointing at the end. The team struggling with the tyres, as so many were. They think they figured out what was wrong in the race yesterday. I was talking to Paul Jackson this morning. So Evans hopeful of a much better race today. Let's not forget the man who was fastest in practice.
I think they were a bit aggressive in the strategy and didn't pay out. Also, maybe they were very hurt from the safety car.
Indeed. So last row of the grid will be Regalia and Jeffries. Sato will be 24th with Berton 23rd. Then it's Rossi and Chicotto, Negrão and Ricalmi. Marcello's 18th and Lancaster 17th. Haryanto is 16th, and then it's Markelov, Evans, Abt, Daly and de Jong. The top 10 as the drivers line up on the grid. In 10th place it is Adrian Quaife-Hobbs. In 9th it is René Binder. In 8th it is this man, Stoffel Van Dorn. 7th place, Julian Leal, who finished 2nd yesterday. Then Jolyon Palmer lines up 6th. In 5th place, it is Stefano Coletti. 4th is Arthur Pic. 3rd is Izawa. 2nd is Trummer. And in pole, it's Felipe Nasr. Nasr then starting from pole position. He has never won a GP2 race. Is today the day that changes? The drivers are on the grid, the lights illuminate above them, and here in Bahrain we're racing. Big tyre smoke from Nasr, who doesn't get away great. A wonderful start from Leal, the 2 rookies bogged down. Leal's already around Pic and up around the outside, possibly looking at 3rd place. Jolyon Palmer up to 2nd. A great start from Leal then, all the way up into 3rd, and Nasr has dropped back hugely. A dreadful start then for Felipe Nasr from the pole position, and up into the lead goes the Rapax of Simon Trummer. It's Jolyon Palmer 2nd, Julian Leal 3rd. The 2nd Rapax behind them then of Adrian Quaife-Hobbs, and then It is the second Carlin car of Felipe Nasr. Arthur Pick behind him, Rene Binder, then De Jong, and then it is the two ART cars. We ride on board now with Stoffel Vandoorne. There's Zawa ahead of us. Vandoorne did not have the start he wanted, goes around his teammate. A little bit too far and can't get the power down, but already Jolyon Palmer all over Simon Trummer, coming down through the tricky left-hander and down the back stretch. And once again, the pole sitter having a nightmare here in Bahrain off the line. But look at Palmer, tucked up, right in the slipstream of Trummer, has a look, but can't make his way through.
Two cars stalled on the grid, and luckily nobody hit them. It was very dangerous, but everybody got through the first lap, which is a good news.
Coletti, one of those guys then who stalled on the grid. As we look back to the front of the field, and it is Trummer from Palmer. And Palmer, wanting to make amends for that dreadful start yesterday, has done so immediately today. Started this race, let's not forget, from 6th position and already up to 2nd at the end of the first lap, as Vandoorne does get past Izawa, the number 10 car, taking the number 9 down the start-finish straight. The two teammates do battle as Palmer now takes it to Trummer. Wants the inside line for turn 1. Jolyon Palmer on Simon Trummer, late on the brakes. And it's a lovely move from Jolyon Palmer. Leal wanted to get involved as well. But Palmer takes the lead through turn 1, and Trummer now having to look in his mirrors as Leal, the Colombian, back on him. Has a good look, and now has to defend as Riquelme makes the move on De Jong. And Evans and Markelov now get through Izawa, who's dropping like a stone after such a good performance yesterday. And Vandoorne, oh, contact, and I think Vandoorne has damage to his front wing. He does, and that was before the contact with Markelov. So yesterday's race winner has picked up damage. I'm wondering if that was in the battle with Izawa, because Izawa is slow as well. Fred Vasseur is not going to be a happy boy if those two teammates have knocked each other. But Izawa's dropping back, Vandoorne is dropping back. The two ART cars from Heroes yesterday, it's all coming undone. Berton and Markelov now down the back stretch, and Rossi on the back wanting to get involved as well.
Yeah, Vandoorne was on the outside in the chicane, and he tried to move, but actually then he had an accident with a Russian time car.
So down now Rossi, fending off Markelov up the top of the hill, and the Hilmer goes up inside as well.
3 wide.
Daniel Abt holds it together. Rossi runs wide, loses 1, 2, 3. Now 4 places, comes back on. There's Vandoorne. Markelov having to defend now from Abt and Cecotto. Abt trying to go around the outside, but Cecotto goes up on the inside of him. Edges Abt wide, and Cecotto takes that position. Vandoorne into the pits, but it's Palmer at the front who leads.
And
from
Ross
Trummer.
into the pit. Ross into the pit as well. I think he has a puncher.
Riquelme through on Binder. And Rossi, you're right, into the pits. Good spot, Luca.
I got lost. Too many things to say. too many moves now, and fastest lap for Jolyon Palmer, because he really needed to get the lead, because his car is very fast at the beginning of the race, and then we have to see how he's good on the tires.
So Vandoorne with that wing damage. I think that wing was damaged before he had that contact with the Russian time car. If I'm totally honest, the wing looked like it was hanging very low as he was coming over the brow of the hill. But certainly that's, I imagine, what allowed that Russian time to get alongside him. Here's a replay then, on board with Vandoorne. And up the inside of De Jong. That's where the contact happened. That's where his wing was dislodged. Now we wait to see where's the Russian time car. It will be Markelov who comes through. There's Markelov. Little punt there, and Vandoorne is off.
You were right. But yeah, that was such a shame, because De Jong just closed the door a little too much in the exit of the corner, and actually it was just a racing accident. Nothing really any of them can do.
So the big movers from the start. Jolyon Palmer up into the lead of this race from 6th on the grid. Trummer started 2nd, stays 2nd. Leal from 7th on the grid sits 3rd. Quaife Hobbs is 4th from 10th. Nasr, well, he lost out, didn't he? Big time. And there's Coletti stalling on the left-hand side of your picture. Lucky to avoid Oh, well, lucky everybody was to avoid him, certainly on the grid. Bunching up into turn one. Nasr has already lost 4, 5, 6 positions. He's done incredibly well to find himself back up in 5th. Leal, great job to get out of Coletti's way. And I tell you, Jeffrey's had a good start. Jeffrey's had a great start. Riding on board with Rossi, bogs down a little. Oof, close, so close with Sato.
Yeah, Sato had a good one, and they were both lucky, and just for a few millimeters it was going to hit the wall.
Still on board then with the American. Riding through turns 1 and 2. Sensible stuff from Rossi. I wonder where it was that he picked up that puncture. Possibly when he got pushed back. Now on board with Nasr, looking back from the pole sitter as he gets swamped. What does that feel like, Luca, when you're sitting in the car and you don't get the start that you want?
No, it was difficult, but then look from the outside, it made so many positions again. That was a good reaction. He didn't have the race he wanted yesterday, but he had a good chance starting from the top today. It was difficult, but now, running 5th, he can still have a chance to get on the podium.
So Nasr fighting back. He doesn't make life easy for himself, does he? Best chance to go for that elusive first win. And here we go. This is Rossi. Later on. Looked up and ran deep. I wonder if by that point... Yeah, look at the rear right. It's down, isn't it?
Yeah, the puncture was there already, and it might have been a curb or a rear wing, a front wing for somebody else, but it was clear he just went wide because of that.
Arthur Peak is pushing Felipe Nasr.
Front wing damage, is there front wing damage? Front wing is okay, front wing okay.
All right, so Adrian Quaife-Hobbs currently in P4, clearly not happy with the turn-in of the car, probably a bit understeery, asking if there's front wing damage. Team says it's all okay. He's doing all right at the moment. He is just a second off Leal and 1.4 ahead of Nasr. Nasr has his own problems with Arthur Peak bearing down on him, then Riquelme behind. And we ride on board now with Mitch Evans. Ahead of us is Rene Binder in the Arden, and Evans is making his way through the field. Evans, who started 14th, is up to 9 already, and the top 8 drivers score points in this race today.
He's a bit turned to the right, so when he had the hit with Van Dorn, it slightly moved the how you say, the toe at the front. Yeah. So it's a little damage, but it doesn't look too bad. He can still drive it.
Yeah, you're right. He is slightly off on the straight, isn't he? Turn to the right. So Evans, despite that, is monstering his way through the field. He wants to get points today. As we said, just the top 8 who score points in this reverse grid race.
That makes the car a bit difficult to drive sometimes, pointy on maybe the left and maybe a bit loose to the right, so it gets tricky. But once you understand the behavior, then you get it right.
Now this Sunday race is always a tricky one. One set of tyres, no pit stops as Evans has a look at the Arden. His former team, of course, he raced for Arden in GP3, he raced for Arden last year in GP2. Now racing for the champions, Russian time. Binder trying to defend one way, then the other. Evans up the inside. It's a good move from Mitch Evans, and as Binder tries to get back, De Jong tries to take advantage, but Evans will have that position nicely tucked up.
Great move from Evans, because he really prepared the exit out of turn 2, and in turn 3 he had a bit of extra speed, and then he just went on the inside. He needed to get Binder because he needs to catch the guys on the front.
And now De Jong having a good look at Rene Binder, whose turning vane is hanging off luridly. It always happens in GP2. They've never been secured very strongly, those things. Behind them, Connor Daly is in 11th and fighting his way up the field from 12th on the grid. I think probably just biding his time. These guys have got to think about tyre preservation. No pit stops allowed in this reverse grid race. As we ride on board now with Mitch Evans. Talk us through it, Luca.
Yeah, he made a move on the left, but then just because he wanted to make a space on the right. So it was a kind of a
dummy.
Yes, exactly. He wanted to show in his mirrors, and then he did great.
So lovely move from Mitch Evans. You see in the background there, Rio Haryanto in the green Caterham, having a look at Connor Daly in the blue and back Venezuela GP Lazarus car. A nice little battle with them, shaping up for 11th and 12th place. Behind them is Zawa, who started on the second row of the grid and dropped like a stone in the opening laps. Markelov behind him, those two rookies. De Jong having a look at Binder. Haryanto right up the inside of Daly, caught him napping. And all too easy for Rio Haryanto, who was, of course, the fastest man here over testing, but Daly isn't letting him go. Straight back on the juice, and underneath his rear wing, Daly going for the move. He'll have to go around the outside on Haryanto, and Daly, lovely, takes that position back. Haryanto will get on the power a little earlier. Daly doesn't. That's beautiful. Great stuff from Connor.
It was a great battle, but still, we have to see what happens, because the race is staying very long.
Yeah, absolutely. But good recovery from Daly, and Izawa instantly taking advantage of Haryanto. That's very, very nice stuff from Izawa. You know, as Haryanto got frustrated having made up one position, he's now lost one position.
Yeah, let's see now how Izawa is, because yesterday he had a good pace. He was racing in the pack as well, but it was very fast. Let's see if today he can make some position back.
I think trying to just control himself after those opening laps, really let his head go. But just channeling, focusing, getting on with the job at hand.
This is the fastest corner of the circuit. Is flat out in quali and is not in the race. You have to lift a little, otherwise you push too much on the lateral G and you kill the tires basically. So it's a place where you can make some speed, but actually it's hard on tires.
Palmer still leads this race then from Simon Trummer. First and second on track, Julian Leal back up in a podium position in third. Adrian Quaife-Hobbs is fourth. Felipe Nasr is fifth. Arthur Pic is sixth. Seventh is Riquelme. Eighth is Evans. Those are your points paying positions right now, as Izawa now takes it to Connor Daly.
Now looking back, let's see the move from Izawa. Very nice on the inside. He braked very, very late. And there is nothing to do for Haryanto now. And yeah, it was a good one.
Lovely stuff from the Japanese drivers. 29 years old, a graduate of Super GT and Formula Nippon. Darling of the Honda Racing Academy. And part of this new collaboration between ART Grand Prix and the McLaren F1 team. One of ART's drivers, a McLaren Junior, one of them a Honda Junior, because of course next year in Formula One, McLaren will return to that famous McLaren Honda name.
Yeah, Honda's back.
Let's look after the tyres for the next 10 laps. Keep this gap to Trummer.
So the message going out to Julian Leal. And Julian was very interesting. I spoke to him this morning and he said he's got to try and hold the car for the last 5 laps. I said, why not the last 10 laps? After what Arthur did yesterday. He said, why, what did Arthur do yesterday? And I said, he pushed 10 laps before the end. Really? Yeah, overtook loads of people. Oh, wow, I didn't realise that. And you still finished okay. But yeah. So, oh, I might try that.
You even changed the voice one. Yes, yeah, I think between the top 3, it's gonna be pace dependent. Now they just have to follow each other, and who have the strongest pace at the end will win the race. But Palmer did good in getting the first place, because running clean air is always better. So yes, he's in the best spot.
And we've got to ask the question, obviously yesterday Palmer seemingly struggling with tyres in the last few laps of the race, lost that second place to Julian Leal. It has always been a question mark over Jolyon Palmer. His race wins came from running that prime strategy, and the big question yesterday was, could he hold on a full race, having to use both the prime and the option tyre? He did, but he did start to fall off on those last few laps. How he looks after his tyres today, I think, will be very telling. No pit stops and 23 laps to run on those tyres.
What he has to do now is keep his first position, maybe back off a little in this sector, that maybe in a clever way that nobody can get the position, and then push a little harder before the long straight, just to make that gap that allows you to be safe. And then you can maybe save the tire. Otherwise, if you are second or third, as usual, you have the slipstream, yes, but then you lose aerodynamic and you are harder on tires.
Felipe Nasr running up the hills. We're getting a replay here. The battle then between Haryanto and is that Markelov? It is. Markelov up the inside of Rio Haryanto, and again those Caterhams are struggling.
Markelov is doing good. He doesn't have so much experience, but he's running in a pack. He did a good progression from the beginning of the season, so I think he must be pleased.
I'll tell you what, from last place yesterday up to 15th in the race, the team were delighted with Artem. Went to see them this morning. The team were absolutely overjoyed. That's, you know, as you said, the guy doesn't have that much experience in racing, and he put in a great display yesterday, and again today he's fighting his way through the field. If you want a reflection of Binder, team radio.
Okay, Renee, the people at the front are starting to struggle. People at the front are starting to struggle, so keep this pace. Come on, did a good job.
There we go, he's right. You know, the lap times have dropped from 1:45s to 1:46s, and I was saying just a little earlier, if you want a reflection of how well viewed GP2 is and how many people around the world are watching, when Julian Leal was on the podium yesterday, he got a very nice tweet from Juan Pablo Montoya saying congratulations.
Oh.
Good old Juan, making his return to single-seater racing this year in IndyCar.
Yeah, he's enjoying very much, and I'm sure he will maybe win some races as well. He's still fast.
Ah, yes, but if Luca Filippi was in IndyCar, it would be a big battle. Big battle between Luca and Juan Pablo.
We will, one day.
One day, mate, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. On board with Nasr, P5 in the race at the moment from pole position. The guys at the front are dropping from 45s to 46s. Leal and back are running 47s. We are reaching half race distance. And how long will it be before drivers start to give it a push? It was about this time yesterday, with 10 laps to go to the close, that Arthur Pic started making his move. He has been all over the back of Felipe Nasr from the start of this race. Is it now that he puts the hammer down?
The peak of his race.
Yay! Very good.
It's starting now.
Perhaps it's a little bit early. Of course, there's still 13 laps to run. Would be a little optimistic, I'd say, to go immediately, but Pic is not letting Nasr out of his sights. Raquelme is still in that battle as well, and Evans is starting to draw in. The gap between Evans and Raquelme down to 1.6 seconds. It's not a lot between all these guys, but it's just enough at the moment. I think Nasr is being fairly smart here. He's not getting too close to Quaife Hobbs ahead of him. Quaife Hobbs being similarly intelligent, doesn't want to get in the dirty air, doesn't want to be understeering, doesn't want to take too much out of those fronts.
I'm very looking forward to the next few laps, because it's difficult to read the situation. It's difficult to understand if Nasr is actually struggling or not. I can see the tires are not too bad at the rear, but actually it's not a pure degradation. We're talking about temperature degradation. So
thermal degradation.
Exactly. Bravissimo. So this is the point. They have to be nice, especially in very fast corners, but they can still push in braking zones and maybe on the traction when the car is pretty straight. So it's actually not so easy to manage.
Nasr, there he is, will be kicking himself over that start. At the moment, he sits 7 seconds off race leader Jolyon Palmer, who had a similarly bad start yesterday from pole position. Seems to be something of a curse over that pole position, something which we probably shouldn't tell Nico Rosberg going into tonight's Grand Prix. But look at Pic, the aggression in Pic, but he has got to be wary of Raquelme behind. Dams driver who really does come on strong in the latter stages of these GP2 contests. Raquelme's performances have really gone, I think, slightly under the radar and unnoticed over the particularly over last season. Was incredibly fast, particularly in the last sort of 5-6 laps of the race, and would make good positions up. It was his race at Silverstone really was the breakthrough for him, I thought, as he really got on top of GP2 strategy. Until that point, he'd always been something of a soft touch. People felt they could just barge past him. He'd had a number of reverse grid pole positions and was a little bit soft. It was a little weak, was easy to pass, but he suddenly got his confidence together. Oh, 3 wide, Izawa, Daly and Markelov. Markelov up the inside of Izawa. The two rookies together, that is close. And both of them past Daly. So Daly loses 2 positions in that 3 wide moment coming up towards turn 4. And Markelov
just
has a look. Markelov has made up 2 places. He's taken Izawa and Daly in 1 lap. I'm impressed with this kid. 19 years of age, absolutely no fear.
Yeah, and he's consistent and is getting better lap by lap. So actually, in the perspective of the season, is looking very good.
Berton having to defend from Daniel Abt. And this hasn't been the start to the season that Daniel Abt would have hoped for. He's a very intense character, Daniel Abt, as he goes for the outside line on Berton. Never an easy move. Keeps it stuck in around the outside of Berton, who has the inside coming down the backstretch. Up and under attempt from Daniel Abt. Back on the power now, down the backstretch. Marcello is hanging around to pick up some scraps as well. He's in Abt slipstream. 3 wide into the final corner. Abt goes to defend, and Marcello takes them both. Oh, lovely stuff from Lello. Now, Cecotto. 3 wide down the start, finish straight with Berton. And Abt moves out to retake Marcello coming down into the first corner. Dinking out, it's Abt, and now Cecotto. Abt will have the inside. Laid on the brakes, Marcello is going to lose out here to Berton and to Abt. Abt gets around them both. A lovely bit of racing there, but Cecotto still in the mix. This isn't over yet. Tucked up underneath the back of Berton. A big defensive move there from Nathaniel Berton, but Cecotto is alongside. There's going to be contact. Oh, just. And now getting past as well is John Lancaster. Getting up behind Johnny Cecotto, a lovely sequence for almost an entire lap then between these guys, and Daniel Abt has taken full advantage.
Marcello's backing off now. Marcello has a problem, maybe a puncture. It's hard to say, but he's backing off.
He's right out of it, isn't he? Right out.
It was an amazing battle. They just need to make a wider
racetrack.
A wider racetrack, otherwise, yeah.
Lovely stuff. Lancaster now back onto the trident of Johnny Cecotto. Moves to the outside. Johnny defends nicely. And Lancaster trying to get through, and he's going to do what Berton did on the last lap. Around the outside, Lancaster holding, and Cecotto not giving him an inch.
Yeah, it was a nice battle, but it was fair. At the end, let's see.
Bravo, it was fair. Down the start-finish stretch then. Here we go. Abt moves out around Lello. Then there is Berton, who goes for the middle. Cecotto is going to try and dink up the inside as well. Thinks better of that. Lello gets moved out of the mix here with Berton and Abt. There is Abt in the Force India car. Now, where does Lello get his problem?
Now.
Yeah, I think possibly around there. Daly and Harrianto, this the fight for 13th place. 10 laps to go. Who starts to push? And when do they start to push? That's the big question. Who has saved enough in their tyres? The leaders now down into the 1:47. Markelov is the fastest man on track right now. 1:46.8 last time round.
And Evans is also very fast, so yeah, the teammates.
I think coming to a Russian time, maybe holding off at the start.
You have to save a bit your tyres. Take care to your tyres.
Okay, so Palmer is using his tyres too much. Team telling him he needs to save a bit in his tyres.
You have to keep that gap around the second. Now it's 0.9, so yes, it's a safe gap, but it doesn't need to push too much. Otherwise, you never know. Still 10 laps to go, anything can happen, even a safety car. So you have to leave a little of rubber just to be safe.
Just in case. Palmer leads then by 0.9 from Trummer. Leal sits third. 0.8 splits Palmer and Trummer. 0.8 splits Trummer and Leal. The top 3 divided by not a lot. Just under 2 seconds, those 3 cars, as we now have less than 10 laps remaining here in Bahrain for something to happen, something magical to happen between those top three. I think Leal will start to push just as he did yesterday. And how much has Palmer got left in those tyres? That continual struggle for Jolyon Palmer. Can he overcome it? Can he take the win?
Quayhoff was in the 48 this lap, so a bit slower than the pack in the front and at the back. So let's see if he's just made a mistake or if his pace is actually dropping
Palmer's
off.
tyres to start to drop off soon now. 9 laps to go.
Ooh, so the same for Leal, given that warning sign. Markelov again posts another lap in the 146s. Again, the fastest man on track is Artem Markelov in 11th place. He's 1.7 seconds behind Daniel de Jong and almost a second a lap quicker. So Rossi into the pits for the second time.
Yeah, on soft tires, so maybe looking for fastest lap, or at least to see how these tires are working, to at least make the best out of this mileage.
You got to be in the top 10 to get fastest lap. It's a vanity project at the moment.
Yeah.
There we go. Lancaster up the inside of Berton. Lovely slick move from the Leeds boy. John Lancaster makes that move on Nathaniel Berton for 16th place. And where is Cecotto? Has he got through them all as well? I think Berton's starting to drop. Yeah, because Cecotto's got past him as well. So Cecotto and Lancaster have made those moves on the blue and black GP Lazarus car. Palmer then, 8 laps left to go, leads now by just 0.6 seconds. Simon Trummer is starting to apply the pressure, just as he did yesterday. Daniel Abt is all over Rio Haryanto down into turn 1. Cecotto, that's finally, I think that is the, was that the turning vane?
Yes, exactly.
And Daly, is that running wide or is that Berton? That's Daly, and he's slow. He's very slow. There's a problem with the car. And what a disappointing weekend this is for Conor Daly. A last-minute call-up to the championship. And it just hasn't gone Conor Daly's way. He deserves better luck than that. He scored points on his GP2 debut last year, a one-off drive in the championship. But it's all undone for Conor Daly. I hope we will see him back in Barcelona. And Daly, oh no, don't tell me. So it's the turning vane. It's the turning vane from Binder's car has finally fallen off. Daly goes over it, and I think that's done the damage.
Yeah, maybe it's a puncture on the front left. I haven't really seen that, but it looks like the car was bouncing, so it's possible. Yeah. It's always difficult to judge also for the stewards if you see a piece of a car that is moving around to decide if black flag him or
black
not.
And orange.
Yeah, black and orange, I mean, but sometimes it is also difficult to take the call.
We see that almost every race in GP2. There's almost always a turning vane hanging off one of the cars. And it's been that way for years, at least 4 well, ever since we got this new car in the first year of this new car, it's always been like that. I don't know what they need to do. Industrial strength super glue or a massive bolt. Daniel Abt now on the back of Rio Haryanto. Haryanto goes to defend. Abt sticks to the racing line, goes around the outside of Haryanto. Haryanto, beautiful defensive.
Look at Abt, he lost his front upper flap on the left side, so he lost downforce for sure, but maybe the car is faster on the straight.
Now back in the slipstream, back in the toe of Haryanto, who moves to defend. Not all the way over, as Abt was hoping. Just a half move frustrates Abt. A great spot there, Luca, on that end plate. It is indeed damaged. And Abt with a seeming straight line advantage, but that will hurt him in the corners. Cecotto's catching this battle. So too is John Lancaster. Haryanto right now is running 48s, everyone ahead running 47s. Palmer has extended the lead back up to 0.9 seconds on that last lap. And Daly brings the car in, and it has not been a great day for the Americans. I hope we see Daly back in Barcelona. He needs budget in order to continue the season, but I hope for his sake that we do. A talented young man who deserves more than to be left on the sidelines. But it is day over and weekend over for Conor Daly.
Yeah, it must be a bigger damage than just a puncture. I can't really see it from here, but shame, bad luck.
Up at the front, Trummer's dropped it down to 0.8. Leal is still in the mix as well, still less than 2 seconds split. The top three, Palmer, Trummer, Leal, Quaife Hobbs fourth, Nasser fifth. Peak now has dropped back from Nasser and is under huge pressure from Riquelme. Evans is getting involved in the mix as well. That is your top 8. Those are your points scorers as things stand at the moment. It hasn't been the most thrilling of races, but radios for Trummer.
If we want to win this race, you have to attack now. You have to attack now.
That's I think the message he might have known, or he might need to hear, fairly nonchalant. And there is Daly out of the car. And I'm sure he'll take it in his stride, as he always does, but that always happy face will hide a bit of disappointment inside Conor Daly. Just wanted to show what he could do this weekend, and it never quite came his way.
So you were probably right on Nasser. He was backing off a little, and now he's right behind Quaife Hobbs, and with 6 laps to go, he has the time to get him.
And Quaife Hobbs is struggling. Look at him, nowhere near the apex. He's really struggling to get that car turned in. I think understeering a little bit as he loses the fronts.
See how he's preparing the exit, Nasser, just to be faster on the straight, and that's not the best spot. It's better to stay behind in this corner and prepare for the longest straight.
Nasser, who on current evidence will have to wait to secure his first ever GP2 series win. It remains the monkey on his back. Quaife Hobbs in 4th place ahead of him. The man who started this race from pole and who got such a bad start. Meanwhile, Trummer has cut the gap back to Palmer by another 1/10 of a second. It's now 1.7 that splits the top 3, as well as Leal cuts another 1/10 of a second back to Trummer.
It would be great to have a battle at the last lap, maybe 3 guys fighting for the win.
And it is always now, traditionally, 5 or 6 laps till the end of the race that people start to push. Those who are struggling with tyres have to defend. Those who kept their tyres are on the attack. There's a bit of deg on the front right for Nasser as we have a look at Palmer's tyres.
Yeah, there is a bit of a grainy in the middle and a bit of a pickup on the inside, but the rear is not looking bad at all, thinking on the mileage that he has at the moment.
So you reckon he should be good? Should be able to push on those?
Push is
Daniel Abt on Rio Haryanto.
nice move.
Good stuff from Daniel Abt. That moves him up into just 13th place. So 4.5 laps remain. The leaders ahead of us going through the final corner. Big bit of tyre chunks off there. And now look at Palmer, look at Trummer, look at Leal. Top 3 split over the line by 1.3 seconds. Trummer now is half a second behind Jolyon Palmer. We do have a fight for the win here in Bahrain, and Trummer is coming for Jolyon Palmer. Brake dust kicking out the right front on Quaife Hobbs' car there. Heavy braking zones here. And, well, the top 3 fight. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th are also fighting. We've got a great little lineup of battles here in the last few laps of the race for the top 3 places and for the points-paying positions. Everyone is line astern as Nasser got right alongside Quaife Hobbs then. Quaife Hobbs is slow. He's got nothing left in those tyres.
Yeah, struggling big time, especially on the right-hand corner, because actually, you know, this... Oh,
big lock-up. Nasser back on the power, but it's going to do well to pass him around here. And Nasser knows he needs to get through because his wing mirrors right now are full. Nasser's wing mirrors are full of Peak and Riquelme and Evans. 3.5 laps remain.
This is the section where Quaife Hobbs is struggling a lot, so he needs to get in now, otherwise then the other people from the back are coming.
Nasr having a look. Here we go, setting up the exit into the slipstream. Can he get through at the final corner? Oh, he's in a good tow. Up and alongside him, late on the brakes. Felipe Nasr says, thank you very much, I will have 4th place. Next for Quaife Hobbs to defend from is Arthur Peak. 3 laps remain, and Quaife Hobbs is not letting it go. Back onto the racing line as Nasr defends and gets into the dirty part of the track. And Quaife Hobbs, it's beautiful driving from Adrian Quaife Hobbs as Riquelme has a look, and there is a touch on the back of Nasr's car. So Riquelme just a little dink into the back of Nasr, but Nasr now back on Quaife Hobbs. Goes one way, then the next, sends in the dummy, and around the outside, it's a lovely move from Adrian Quaife Hobbs. Sorry, from Felipe Nasr, I should say, who gets around Adrian Quaife Hobbs.
And Pick is defending from Riquelme, and Evans is also on the move.
Wonderful stuff in the last few laps. Nasr finally makes that move stick on Adrian Quaife Hobbs. Peak now having to defend from Riquelme and Evans. Evans, though, for that final points-paying position. Binder is right behind him. So too De Jong and Markelov. It could be any one of these guys for the final few points.
And in the meantime, Palmer is under pressure from Trummer, but they are lapping at the same speed, so it's going to be tough.
Just that half a second splitting Palmer and Trummer. Leal in the mix as well. 1.5 seconds splits the top 3 places. This is the battle for points, though. Nasr is up into 4th. Quaife Hobbs has dropped down to 5th. Peak still holds 6th from Riquelme 7th and Evans 8th. But then there is Rene Binder. 2 laps to go next time across the line. Has Trummer left it too late? Has Palmer got enough left in his tyres? So this, on the last lap, let's have a look at what happened. This was Quaife Hobbs getting back past Nasr. A really nice move. Now it's here that it looked like, oh, it was the curb that lifted him up. I thought it was Riquelme getting underneath him. Riquelme defending from Evans. Yeah, they avoided each other there.
I have to say, it have been quite a fair race. We've seen nice battles, and everyone was always leaving the space.
Yeah. Evans up the inside of Riquelme. Riquelme slams the door shut in his face. No getting through there, Mitch. You're going to have to do something more. And Riquelme defending very hard, and that will not be happy news for Mitch Evans, because look at Binder in the red and white Arden, who is coming on strong. Oh, and a touch. Riquelme definitely tagged Peak there and gets his way past. Evans now up the inside. Can't do it. Peak shuts the door. Binder is there to try and go around the outside of Evans. That'll be an optimistic move. No way through around the outside at that corner. And Riquelme, I don't think there was anything he could have done about that. Peak, of course, was bombed by the fact that Quaife Hobbs couldn't get the power down coming out of the corner. It's got no traction on those tyres.
Yeah, he's struggling a lot, and everybody's bucking up, so maybe it's gonna be a burning last lap.
Here we go. He comes down here, just under braking, and there's the touch. Peak does very well to hold on to it.
Yeah, good control of the car.
This is Mitch Evans' view. And we'll see him try and go up the inside, hopefully. Oh, wow, look at that.
That was close to...
Back to the front. Oh. Back to the front then, it is Jolyon Palmer. Last lap of the race, his lead now is back to 0.9. He's done everything that he needed to do in this race to keep that gap from Trummer. Has Leal got enough on this last lap to take it to the man in second? We will see. Nasr is all by himself now. And coming through, Quaife Hobbs defending from Riquelme. Peak having to defend from Evans, who gets right up the inside. And it's a good move finally from Mitch Evans to get through on Arthur Peak. But still side by side as Evans tries to get back. Binder trying to get through. Binder up the inside of Peak and Evans. 3 wide through that corner. Whoa! Back on the power then. Evans holds the position. Binder going for the inside. Cannot make it past. Big lock up from Mitch Evans. Binder has got through into 8th. Binder then, the final points paying position in 8th. Peak drops down to 9th. Riquelme all over Quaife Hobbs. Just a couple of corners left to do it. Up the inside of Quaife Hobbs. Riquelme does it. Great move from Stefan Riquelme to take 5th on the last lap, but Quaife Hobbs won't let him go yet. It's been a lot of defending from Quaife Hobbs on this last lap.
Yeah, Quaife Hobbs has nothing left in his tires, and he have to watch out from Mitch Evans in the very last corner.
But through to take the win comes Jolyon Palmer. So disappointed with losing out from pole position yesterday. Records the win today. Simon Trummer comes home 2nd, and it's Julian Leal 3rd. Felipe Nasr comes home 4th, all by himself. Riquelme is 5th. 6th will be Adrian Quaife Hobbs. 7th is Evans. And 8th, just is René Binder from Peak. And Markelov completing the top 10. Jonathan Palmer, delighted for his boy. 2 podiums to start the year. And ultimately, a measured drive from Jolyon Palmer.
Yes, he did the right thing to get the lead at the beginning of the race, and then he had his pace.
Yes, well done. Very good race. Very good race. Yes, boys. Great job, great job. Thanks, team. Awesome.
Yeah, he must be very happy with himself and with the team as well. They've done everything right. Maybe they weren't the strongest this weekend, but they're coming out as the leaders.
Absolutely. Took pole position, lost out at race start yesterday, but fought back through to take a podium, and today took advantage of the slow starts of the leaders to get himself into a lead that he never lost.
Okay, mate, fantastic job once again. Well done, E3. Very, very impressive, mate.
It has been an impressive weekend from Leal, hasn't it?
Yeah, 2 podiums and consistency. So, yeah, he must be very, very pleased, and he made a big step from last year.
And it's a very good news day for Jolyon Palmer, because with pole and a 3rd place, and today a win, and with Van Dorn finishing down in 22nd place, Palmer, I think, will be leading the championship after today. And given how strong Van Dorn was yesterday, I don't think we had foreseen that one happening, certainly. Looking for another strong result today.
Timo, congratulations. Position 2, position 2. First podium in GP2. Congratulations, Timo. You really deserve it.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on. His first GP2 podium, and to do it from the pit lane. Pit lane yesterday, made his way up through the fields, finished the race 2nd today. What an amazing turnaround for Simon Trummer.
And we heard some Italian with a stronger accent than mine.
Well, and that is saying something. Jolyon Palmer then the winner for Dam. Simon Trummer 2nd for Rapax. Julian Leal 3rd for Carlin. Felipe Nasr fought valiantly, but an awful start from pole position. That first win in GP2 still eludes him. Riquelme 5th, Quaife Hobbs 6th, fighting with those tyres. 7th was Evans, Binder was 8th. Top 10 completed by Peak and Markelov. Towards the back of the field, who's out of place? Well, Regalia, another disappointing one. You've got to say Van Dorn, of course, disappointing. Coletti, who stalled on the grid. Rossi and Daly, the 2 Americans in the last 2 places. What a galling weekend for those 2 guys. But for Palmer, brilliant weekend. Absolutely brilliant. He has driven wonderfully in both races. Took pole, rose above all of the problems in qualifying with the red flag, and did the job, and you can see how much that means to him.
Yeah, it's the best way to start a season, on top of everyone, and yeah, the winter is always very, very long, and starting a season like that is great. You really get out of the stress, and that's the best way.
Yeah, wonderful stuff for Jolyon Palmer. He has driven 2 fabulous races. Who would you say your driver of the day has been today?
Palmer, yeah, okay, he won, but I think he knew he had to get a position at the begin, and he did it. So he had a right strategy. Otherwise, I think Trummer was quite strong on his pace, so it would have been difficult to get him.
Yeah, I think once again you've got to look at Trummer for the comeback from yesterday to today. Outstanding stuff from Trummer. I think a word also for. I'd like a word for Markelov on his rookie weekend. Very little experience, but 2 incredibly battling races. Okay, he doesn't have a point to show for it, but I thought Markelov drove very well in both races for someone with so little experience.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And also, yeah, we didn't expect such a good weekend from him. He did well. And look at the joy here. and also his teammate Evans. We have seen he had damage on this car. His steering wheel was a bit turned from contact with Van Dorn, but he drove well and he did nice moves, and he's in the points.
Well, there we go. 2 legends of British racing, Derek Warwick and Jonathan Palmer. And JP, obviously incredibly proud of his son and all that he achieves. He's here for every race. And that'll mean a lot. A great start to the year for Dams, a great start to the year for Jolyon Palmer. And 2 very interesting races. So where do you think we are, Luca? Who do you think is the most competitive outfit out there right now?
I think ART did great. And I will say it's more on the other side. Somebody that I expected was stronger than what we have seen, which is Felipe Nasr. And I'm lost.
Which one? Who do you like? Who's disappointed? Coletti?
Yeah, Coletti a little.
So Nasr a little bit.
Rossi mainly.
Yeah,
Rossi mainly. He was so quick in the winter, and is coming out with 0 points.
So disappointments for Caterham, disappointments, of course, for those guys. But right here and right now, it's about the winners. Jolyon Palmer has won, Simon Trum at second, Julian Leal third. Palmer leads the championship, and it is time now for the podium.
So here they come, ladies and gentlemen, the first podium of the day. In third place from Colombia, Julian Leal, once again on the podium. In second place from Switzerland, Simon Trimmer. And the winner, third yesterday, first today, Jolyon Palmer from Great Britain. And in his honour, we will hear the British national anthem. The chairman of the Bahrain International Circuit. To the second place driver, Simon Trimmer, the trophy is presented by Stefan Happis, Chief Financial Officer of Bahrain and to the third place driver, Julian Leal, the trophy is presented by Rashid Al-Zayani, General Secretary of the Bahrain Motorsports Federation. Congratulations to Simon Trimmer. At your feet is
Gentlemen, congratulations. Another great race. Well done, well done. Jolien, awesome stuff. Simon, great to see you up here. Great to see you up here. Joe, after starting on pole yesterday, after that race start, a podium and now a win. Is this the best you could have hoped for?
Yeah, definitely. Yesterday it was 1st to 6th in one lap, and now it's 6th to 1st. So it definitely made up for it. And I was absolutely delighted. We'd done a lot of homework tonight on the starts and the tyre deck. And I think, to be honest, we nailed them both.
Yeah, start was critical, wasn't it? Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was just trying to do the same thing that failed so badly yesterday, really. So just having a bit of faith, and it paid off really well. So thanks to the guys, they've been helping me on that. And then it was just managing the race. I got these two tyre gurus from yesterday behind, so it was not easy, but I'm really happy with the job we've done.
You're leading the championship. How good does the car feel underneath you?
Really good. I think qualifying pace we're there. In pre-season testing, it was like that, and we were surprised yesterday that we didn't quite have the race pace, but today I think we've proved that we've found a big step, and hopefully now it's strong for the European season.
Top job. Well done. Simon, a wonderful drive. I mean, from the start yesterday, from the start yesterday to come through and get a podium today. Just an astonishing performance all weekend. Congratulations. How does it feel? How does the car feel? You must be delighted for yourself and for the boys.
Thank you. Yes, it is. Yesterday, I started out of the pit lane, so the weekend seemed quite hard. Yesterday, the race pace was just amazing. The car was really good. And today, I started from P2. I could take the lead, but Jolien was quite quick at the beginning of the race, so more quick than me. And after, I was thinking I could catch him again, but he was really strong. So I just kept the pace because I couldn't more. And yeah, thank you guys. It's just the car was perfect. We started from the pit lane, so if we can improve qualifying, it will be good.
Well, this is the thing, you know, starting from the pit lane, ending up on the podium. What can you do with a good qualifying in this car?
Yeah, just I saw it today. If you can start in front, you have to make your pace, you have to make your race, and yeah, you have to fight less. You can concentrate more on the tire degradation. So yeah, we really will work on qualifying.
I think we'll be seeing a lot more of you up here this year. Well done. Many congratulations. And Julian, 2 days, 2 races, 2 podiums, another great start, another great run. Must feel brilliant right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's incredible that we start like this. Podium yesterday and podium today. The car was fantastic. I have to say thank you for all the guys to give me this car. Today the race was a little bit hotter than yesterday, so I was only keeping the pace because they were very quick, so I was not able to track the overtake. At the end I was only keeping the pace and I finished in this position.
A top job once again,
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Many congratulations. It is Jolien Palmer, though, who leads the GP2 series after the first weekend of 2014. Next race is going to be a thriller for sure. So much learned, but so many questions after this first weekend. For us all here, though, in Bahrain, it is a very warm goodbye.
Watch all 6 Sky Sports channels on your mobile and online.
This program is sponsored by Rolex.
Tomorrow, live Monday Night Football as Tottenham face Sunderland, Sky Sports 1 at 7. On Wednesday, Champions League action as Bayern Munich face Man United in the live quarter-final, also Sky Sports 1 at 7. And on Thursday, live golf from the first day of the Masters, Sky Sports 4 at 7.
This is Sky Sports, your home of sport.